Well, here we are. Travels with Dottie, and I got a special video for you on solar, on my solar, and what my experience has been this year out in Quartzsite in the 2024-2025 season. So I'm going to give you a brief tour of what I got and what my results have been. Well, first I'll tell you what my results have been. I have not had to use my generator at all this year because of the size of my solar bank, the number of amp hours of batteries that I have, and the solar panels that I have out. And I'm going to walk you through everything here. So we're going to start with what's on the ground. For my main solar array, we have 3 200-watt panels there. They're rigid, but they fold in half, so they're pretty easily stored. And I have them secured with, you might be able to see there, there's rebar stakes that have gone into the ground there, and they're zip tied, so this has been standing up to 50, 60 mile an hour winds. So that's 3 200s, that's 600. Then I have one little extra one that I had, it's 100 watts. So we have 700 watts of solar on the ground here. And notice if I have them staked down, so I do not turn these panels. They're facing pretty much directly south all the time. Now you're going to see another panel here. I want you to put this panel that we're passing, there's 2 of them here. Put it out of your mind for a minute. I'm going to come back to those. Those are for something a little different. But I also have solar panels on my roof. So we're going to climb up on the ladder here. And I'm going to show you, I have 2 170 watt panels here that are flex panels that are taped down to my roof with a turn-on tape. And then there's 2 100 watt panels there. So that's 540 up here flat. Okay. Notice there's a air conditioner thing here. So these are, except right now, this is the middle of the day. It is right at about 2 o'clock. None of them are shaded, but for most of the day, they're at least partially shaded. They're shaded right now by me. Look. Okay, so we're going to go back down. So if you add all that up, it's 540 plus the 700 is going to give us 1340. Hope I did that math right in my head. But what about these over here? Well, I can't tell you that what I'm doing here makes complete logical sense, but it does to me, and I like doing it. These 2 solar panels are not in my main system. They're plugged in here. They go into this compartment, and let me show you what's in this compartment. This is a they call a solar generator or a power station. This is the back of it. It's an EcoFlow, and I'll show you what the front of it looks like. But this has a extension cord plugged into it that goes to a power strip, and this powers my laptop and my charging stations that are in my little office. So it's separate from everything else. So it's 2 different systems. Probably doesn't need to be. Now you can see it looks like I'm plugged in here to shore power, but let's follow that. I'm going to show you where the other end of that goes because we're not getting shore power out here, obviously. That line is going underneath the trailer, and it's going up into this compartment. You see it right there? It's going into this compartment here. There it is, right here. And that is being plugged into You can't see it because it's far back in there, but that's plugged into my inverter. And then right here, you can barely see some Victron stuff because I have this wall built here because I've learned lessons the hard way. When you're moving stuff in and out, you want to make sure they're not bumping into that electronic equipment. So I have that wall there. And let me go to the other side. There's something else important stored back there. Let's open this compartment, see if we can take a peek in. And we almost can't because we have stuff stacked in here. But if you look all the way back there, you can see the yellow top of a 300 amp hour Lossage battery. And I said I've got more than 300 amp hours. I've got 700 amp hours. So big question is, where the heck are the other 400 amp hours? Well, they're on the tongue here. Give me a second here hard to do things one-handed. And there they are. Each one of these batteries is 200 amp hours. So there's 400 here, 300 in there for a total of 700. And you see that other Victron thing back there? That is a DC to DC charger, which means it will charge these batteries while I'm driving, because I have a this right here plugs into my truck when I'm driving, and it pulls electricity off the alternator. So that is my system. And the worst day we had, where it was just raining all day, there was no solar, I got down to about 55%. And there's a temptation when you get that low to fire up the generator. And this is my generator down here. Underneath this this cover is a 5,000 watt, right there is a 5,000 watt propane and gas combination generator. I just run it on propane. There's a real temptation to fire up the generator when you're low, but I said, you know what? I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do is I'm going to wait a few days and see if the system automatically is able to recover on its own. And sure enough, it was absolutely able to recover on its own. So you've got 700, right? Remember, on the ground, then 540 on the roof. And those two combine together to charge that 700 amp hours of batteries, those three batteries that I showed you. And then the other one is a 200 amp hour, 200 watt solar panel. And I don't think I even mentioned the other little 100 watt one next to it. But that's a total of 300 watts that just feeds into that EcoFlow. So that is how I've been doing. This is the first season out here where I haven't felt it necessary to run the generator. The only time I do run the generator is not for the purpose of charging my battery bank. It's when it gets so hot I feel like I need some air conditioning. Can I run my air conditioner off the batteries? Yeah, I think I could for a couple hours maybe. Maybe someday I'll test it to see how long I can run it, but I don't feel much of a desire to do that. If I'm going to run something that powerful for that long, I'm just going to use my generator. And I've done that once this year. It got uncomfortably hot for about 2 hours, and I did calculate it was less than, it was taking less than $2 an hour in propane to run the generator. So, that is my solar stuff. And where's Dottie? Dottie is right there in her favorite spot on her little bed. And If you have any questions on the setup or anything I said, please ask them, and I probably won't type in a response, but certainly the next day in the comments video tomorrow, if you have comments, I'll probably go on and on and on about it. I'm sure it would have been better if I pulled all my stuff out and so you could see everything inside, but I just didn't want to go to all that much effort to do this video. Maybe that's something I'll do down the road a little bit. Anyway, thanks for listening and thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. I'll see you tomorrow.